The Alberta Rockies, a majestic landscape shaped by the power of nature and the people who live there. About 80 kilometers west of Calgary and only a half-hour drive from Banff is the picturesque mountain town of Canmore. The mountains of Canmore are awe-inspiring, and no one knows that better than champion ice climber Sarah Hunican.
I think when winter comes in Canmore, it attracts a ton of ice climbers to begin with, just to live here. When fall rolls around, it starts to get colder and you start to see icicles forming on the edge of your house, and you kind of know that they're forming out there in the mountains, and it's a feeling of excitement, of adventure, like you want to go icicle hunting. Not just adventure, but I guess a sense of exploring yourself. Seeing what you're capable of. Every year it's new. Rainbow Serpent's a really unique climb. It doesn't form every year. Well, it looks intimidating for sure. So it's a special thing when it does.
Woo! This place is amazing.
I was excited to go back because I heard that this year it wasn't quite as secure as it has been.
Rad.
And I was especially excited to go with Magda because she's never climbed it.
Did you see that fracture line though, midway?
Yeah.
I was just excited to share climbing that climb with her because I knew it'd be special for both of us. For her, because she's never climbed it, and for me, because it would be a challenge in the shape it was in. Basically, Rainbow Serpent is a series of pillars that's connected to the rock in a couple places. And this year, the first pillar in particular is quite thin.
Oh yeah, it looks a little thinner up here, Magda.
You have to go at least 10 meters up to where it's completely fractured from the rest of the climb, which makes you wonder how it's standing there and how you're supposed to climb it without it falling off. With ice climbing, there's no sure answer.
Here's hoping.
No one can tell you, hey, you're gonna go up there, and even if you can hold on fine, that nothing's gonna happen. There's no security in that. So you really have to go based on your own past experience and judgment.
You know, the thought of this thing just standing here is weird to me.
And believe that you're making the right decision, and believe that you're gonna work it out if you haven't.
I don't know, guys.
In terms of assessing this climb, there were two elements of risk. One, the risk that I couldn't control of what could happen to this pillar while I'm on it.
When you just look at it like this, you think how heavy it is and why it's still just standing there.
And then the other risk is my own confidence and ability to see it through.
Just a part of me that just isn't sure how smart this is.
Will I get up 5 meters and be too scared to continue? And I think for me, that's been certainly a struggle in the last few months. Just being worried that I wouldn't stay in that present moment when I really need to be in the present moment. And I think that's the biggest struggle since my mom's passed. My mother was my rock in some. She would help me through things, whether it was the advice I wanted or not. That is a huge loss in life, to not feel that security, that kind of like blanket over you. It does feel more naked in life somehow. My mom knew that what I did, but didn't fully understand it, and I think she wouldn't want to fully understand that, and I wouldn't want her to have to. I don't think that would make her very comfortable. But you know, she knew that this is what I love to do and what I got out of it, and she would never try to hold me back. I've never been a big risk taker, but climbing is risky, for sure. There are hazards that you can't mitigate all the time, and I think what stopped me lately is just feeling like I don't want to disrespect this life that I have, you know, that my mom gave me especially. It's a special thing to be living and enjoying life and doing what you love, but you also don't want to be risking it. I felt like it was secure enough to do. So on reflecting more, I thought, yeah, I do want to experience climbing this right now, and I can do it. The biggest gift climbing gives me, anyway, is just to be in that present moment. It's the greatest gift any activity or person or anything can give you when you're just feeling alive right then and there. Most of the time in our lives, we're thinking about what we're going to do tomorrow or in the next hour, or we're reliving moments of the past, and it's so hard to just be in that present moment. I don't have any huge goals or big ambitions right now. I think I just want to feel life out, you know, fully. The ups and downs, and make the most of those days that I do have to get out with my friends and go with people I love and trust. And just kind of go back to those roots of just doing what we love and celebrating the life we have and remembering my mom in a positive way when I'm out there, you know.
Canmore's landscape is inspiring in a big way, and the visitors of Knight's Cabin Cancer Retreat might even suggest that it has a way of healing.
We are at Mount Engadine Lodge and just outside of Canmore and Spray Lakes. I love coming here. It is my favorite place in the world. The tranquility, the nature, the mountains, the air is even different here, and it's something that I've felt for so long, even when I lived in other parts of Alberta, just taking that turn towards the mountains and the feeling that comes over me. The name of the program that we operate is Knight's Cabin Cancer Retreat. The retreat is named after my best friend that passed away from cancer. Her name was Jane Knight. My friend Jane Knight was diagnosed with cancer when she was 17 and I was 16 years old. She battled the disease for 2 years and then passed away. There wasn't much I could do for her. I didn't have medical training when she was going through treatment. So what I could do was go to yoga with her and go for walks, and the impact that it had on her quality of life was remarkable. She slept better, she reported higher energy and all around feeling a little bit better. So to me, it was where I could make an impact. It's something that I could do to help. So that then inspired my undergrad, master's, and PhD in working with cancer survivors and exercise.
Knight's Cabin is all about teaching survivors and their supporters ways to live healthy lifestyles after they've been through an ordeal. And I think it's really important because there aren't a lot of organizations in Alberta or even in Canada that do this kind of work. Most places are focused on the treatment aspect of cancer, whereas we come in after that's all done and everyone's standing there thinking, well, what do we do next?
So what are some examples of bad habits they'd like to change? Drinking?
No, I'm not changing.
That you'd like to change. Any other bad habits? We do an introduction and an introduction to behavior change. What is behavior change? How can we manage that? How can we change it? Which is throughout the whole weekend, but we actually discuss it at the beginning. We also do a meditation session and a mindfulness session. So we talk about the different ways to bring mindfulness into your daily life, whether it's actually guided meditation, whether it's just being present, whether it's running. We have yoga sessions. Again, the research behind yoga and cancer is incredible. It teaches them a lot about the body movement and also the mind-body connection. We go for a hike, which is really important. not only from a physical activity perspective, because again, the research is very supportive of that, but also to get out in nature, to get into this beautiful environment. And for a lot of people, it's been a long time since they were out and they were hiking. So that, to me, is usually ranked one of the favorite experiences of the weekend.
Every Night's Cabin retreat I've been to has been a huge inspiration. Those are the best weekends of my life, and I just get to hang out as a volunteer. It's inspiring to hear the stories of people who have not just survived but thrived, and what we're trying to do is to help them to improve their lives and the lives of their friends and family.
So you've been through a life-changing experience, but now what? I found that the hospitals didn't necessarily talk about food or exercise or anything that's crucial to living a better life. And while we had a lot of resources, there's always things that you can improve.
Now you're left on your own to recover, which is, for me, one of the toughest parts. And to have an opportunity like this where you can come and get information, get that support, build a circle, leave here feeling like you have control and that your recovery can be supported. And I think anyone that goes through the system needs an aftercare component like this. And it just so happens we're lucky enough that this is our backyard and we can come here to do it.
I know that going through the experience with Jane has taught me how to live, truly dive into life and grab things that I want and pursue big dreams and not be afraid to fail for a second, because it's about living. And we talk about it continuously through our retreats as making the best of the rest of your life, whether that's 30 days or 30 years, to ensure that you're getting the most out of it. You're capturing those opportunities and taking those risks and smiling and laughing as much as possible. And I think that's one of the things that the disease does, that does have a positive light, is you have to live, you have to keep living, and truly thrive, not just survive. There's not a day goes by that I don't think of her. I think about how much she would have enjoyed a venue like this, a place like this. So anytime I'm traveling, anytime I'm working with patients, anytime that my breath is taken away, I think of her. She didn't get that experience, and I'm really happy that I can live it for her.
Getting into the great outdoors is one of the best parts about Canmore life, especially when you get into the backcountry.
The backcountry definitely has a different allure. It's the effort you have to make to get there. Sure, you know, your legs get tired, you're going uphill, but the reward is huge. No people, you're all by yourself out there, lots of fresh tracks, enjoying nature. My name is Sean Isaac, and I am an ACMG Alpine guide.
My name's Micah Isaac, and I'm 9 years old.
Today, Micah, my younger son, and I are going to do a backcountry splitboarding mission in Banff National Park. The location we're going to go to today is up on Wawa Ridge above the Sunshine ski area, and it's a perfect location to take children backcountry skiing. It's very accessible, but more importantly, it's simple avalanche terrain. Throw the skins on and start cruising up. It's less than 25 degrees, so it means it's not even avalanche terrain where we're going to go. It's not steep enough. Ready, monkey?
Yeah.
Right on. Very close to the ski hill boundary, so it means can get a lot of bang for your buck. Splitboarding in the backcountry has its own unique challenges. You need to pick an area to go to that's appropriate. Check weather, snow conditions, avalanche hazard. Lots of considerations go into planning a day in the backcountry. At the top of Wawa Chair at the Sunshine Resort, they have a great beacon basin, which means you can go practice with your avalanche beacon.
All right, you can see it says, what, 17, 18 meters, and the arrows are pointing that way?
Just a great way to keep your skills up and teach new backcountry users how to use their avalanche gear.
That's your lowest number?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go to the beacon bays and we'll practice with our beacon.
Yeah, that's it. Good job.
But we'll also look at the snow too. We'll dig a snow pit.
And what happens when you have harder layers over softer layers, you can collapse them when you're snowboarding, and that can cause an avalanche.
Starts giving him an idea that there's more that goes into the decision making than just, whoa, that slope has a lot of fresh powder on it. It is very rewarding for me to be able to do this with my son.
Follow me.
The mountains have been a big part of my life since I was a teenager. I work all winter, often in avalanche terrain, taking people ice climbing. It's very special now that we can go out and do this as a family.
Doing good?
Yeah.
Right on, man.
I can go out with my 2 sons and explore the backcountry.
My favorite thing about splitboarding is I can go into the backcountry.
Doing good, bud?
Yeah.
Top of Wawa Ridge? Phew. Nice work.
Parents would like to take their children to the backcountry definitely need a certain skill set.
Let's rip the skins.
Make sure you get the proper training, whether it's doing avalanche courses or hiring a mountain guide.
Right on, back to a snowboard.
Those hazards balanced with the rewards seems worth it, but you definitely have to know what you're doing.
When I go splitboarding, it feels like a fun adventure through the woods. After doing the hard work of skinning up a mountain, there's less people and more powder and fresh tracks.
We don't have any really big goals with this backcountry splitboarding or skiing. It's just go out, have fun. As long as they're enjoying it and we're having a good time together as a family, that sounds good to me.
Canmore is home to amazing people. Who are the people you love in your community? Tell us about them by emailing opticlocal@telus.com. We will see you soon.